Okay, so that was Burning Seed, and I was then very available and resonant to, the 22. So there was definitely something about it. And again, I met DJ 22, and he was like, Monica, I will help you as much as I can. You come to Ibiza, you stay at my house, we will DJ together. And he's just such a legend. And that did happen. That actually did happen. So following that, I left I had 2 retreats in Indonesia, 2 freediving retreats. And then I met with my girlfriend Brooke. We did the Komodo Islands together, and she is very intuitive herself. And at that stage, I was a little bit confused as to whether I go back to Australia, tie up some loose ends, before I left on my 5-month journey. And my idea for Ibiza was that I was only going to be here 2 months. I'm now 2 months in. This is me at the 2-month mark. And I've decided to stay because, well, that's just the resonance of it. And then I remember she got the download and she just said, "You've got to go. You're gonna miss it if you don't go." And I was like, okay, all right, so I've got to go. So I landed on the 9th of June, and DJ 22 picks me up at the airport. We go to all the big parties. We go to Amnesia, Pikes, Cova Santa, and it was at Cova Santa that I met my friend Frankie. And when I met Frankie, again, I got this resonance, and the resonance mainly happens on my calves. And what I've now learned being on this big resonance journey is that left calf is feminine, right is masculine, and just generally on our bodies. And my whole body is actually activating also at the moment through who I'm meeting and the spaces that I'm going and the things that I'm diving into, quite literally. So we do all these things and go to all these places. And then Frankie, I remember from Bondi, because I played at my girlfriend's birthdays, and I played a 10-hour boiler room set, and Frankie was just there holding an umbrella next to me, just fully just immersed in the music, holding space. And he's just an absolute legend and so funny and amazing. And Frank, and this is at the time where I had a week at DJ 22's house and I needed a space to stay. And Frankie was like, well, you can come and stay at ours, if you need. Like, Ibiza's either very closed off energetically or very giving, and you also have to give to receive in a big way. And so that was really, really wonderful of him. So then, and he was like, you must come to Las Dalias next Wednesday. So Las Dalias is a party here in Ibiza it's just one of, if you are a little bit energetically inclined, spiritual, hippie, you might say, Las Dalias is definitely a space for you, and it definitely was for me as well. It really encompasses all of the art, all the flavors, all the connections, all the creativity. It's like a burning seed in a festival, perhaps a little less scrubby. But so we went there for it's like a sort of day into night party. The DJs are very organic and tribal and down to earth, and I remember I was on the dance floor, and then I bumped into my friend Jeremy. So Jeremy and I have known each other since high school, and he used to date one of my friends in high school, and he was like, Moni? Now I've got a lot of names, Monica, Moni, and then my artist name is Skywalker, for anyone that's confused at this point. I just wanted to bring that back. So he's like, Moni, what are you doing here? And I was like, Jeremy, what are you doing here? So Jeremy's now like this awesome big time lawyer. He's just lived in Paris. He now speaks French, and he's living in New York. And we met in Brisbane, which is where we're from. And he's like, you must come over to ours. Like, we've got this beautiful villa right by Es Vedra. And Es Vedra really rings a bell because Es Vedra is the 3rd most magnetic space on Earth, which lives here, and is a big reason why I think Ibiza is as energetic as it is. So the next day, Frankie drops me to Jeremy's and says goodbye, and there's just something about it, like he's just like, this is where you're gonna be, undoubtedly. So this is now the Thursday, so I've almost been on Ibiza for a week, and I walk in and I see her, the Rock, straight out in front, beautiful pool area. Say hi to his housemate as well. But all of a sudden I just got this again resonance, and it was like, you're here, you're home. And it was like the ripples on the water sort of said that. And now Es Vedra is known as this space where musicians come to write their next albums, they come to get inspiration. Apparently there's a pyramid inside it, there's doors underneath it, it's a space of sirens, mermaids, pirates, a lot of myths, a lot of legends, a lot of mystic and a lot of magic, UFO sightings. It's a very, very, very potent, very special space. So I was like, I don't want to leave. And Jeremy's like, well, you don't have to leave. It's like, we've got this space till, you know, for the next 10 days. He's like, if you're here to ride, go for it. And we actually ended up having a massive villa party, the first villa party that house has ever seen, because it was quite illegal. We got the owner involved though, and we actually ended up pulling off an amazing, beautiful event, which was super cool. Now, the partying got pretty intense at this stage. Like, I do love a little bit of a shindig myself. And I just got showered, you know. It was just one of those parts of life where I couldn't, you know, it was just like receive, and we partied, we danced, we indulged, out for dinner every night. I met so many beautiful people, and I really gave myself to that. And boys, thank you so much. Skywalker loves you very, very, very much. And then I was at Cova Santa, and I could feel my body really needing to come back into harmony. Cova Santa is another really beautiful creative space on the island that's amazing to go partying. There's an underground cave, there's markets, there's restaurants, there's an outdoor area, there's an indoor area. Luna Disco, of all people, as well, play there too. It's just very, very high caliber and good caliber of music and people. And I would love to play there, and I'm gonna put it out there. It's Lionsgate Portal today as I'm recording this, so why not? The magic is here. The wind is saying yes. If you want it, you know, if you're really willing to work for it, it's a yes. You know, it's always a yes. Yeah, so I'm at Cova Santa. And then I bumped into Danny Saggers. So Danny Saggers is a man on the island. He owns Love Dance, and it is a tribe of conscious partygoers that also they create an environment where medicine and partying in terms of celebration comes together. And at that stage I knew that I really needed some medicine, and especially Cambo. So Cambo is the frog medicine that you sit and you purge all of the toxins out of your body. And at this stage of 2 weeks of partying, there was a fair amount of toxins in the body. And I called that in, and again, like, the calling in on this island and what you find in fruition is just incredible. I think I'll take the time as well to note down, like, what I wanted to do here was record my voice, play my music, DJ, freedive, learn Spanish, learn guitar, and a lot to do with my vocals, and then also like find tribes. So that was like really, really high on my list to get done. And calling in tribe and my medicine people was really profound. So they found me at 11:44 p.m. on the dance floor, and he literally had said, so Danny Saggers said just before he saw me, "Young Skywalker," to his friend. And then I wander in and I'm like, "Hi, my name is Skywalker. I'm here on a frequency journey, and I'm trying to find my people." I'm not really sure how the conversation went, but he was like, "Yep, okay, cool. We're gonna work together." And that's when we ended up doing the villa party together. We've done boat parties together since, a rooftop sunset party as well, and more to come in the future. And he's actually going to teach me to facilitate the medicine, because I feel really called to share that medicine and to help realign people. So that was that. And then I needed a space to stay after the villa. So the boys left, and then I called in a new space, and I found a place with Tom Zeta and his girlfriend, and they're really beautiful people, but the space was in San Antonio. So San Antonio, I've actually lived 10 years ago, and I'm an entirely different human in many ways, but there was a lot of things that I'd outgrown about myself within San Antonio, being the unconscious way of partying. And I remember I moved in and I never unpacked. It was very interesting, and in a space of luck as well, the landlord, because here in Ibiza you have to give like a month per month rent, and that includes like a deposit, 1 month, a whole month's rent, 900 euros, so that's like equivalent to like 1800 Aussie bucks. You've got to kind of like double it. And it was a lot of money to give over at the time, and I needed contract signed, but the landlord was having a baby, so I didn't get to sign contract. And after day 5, I realized, I was like, this isn't where I'm meant to be, and this isn't where I want to be or where I resonate. And I called in something else, and that found me through a Reiki session, actually. Like, I was calling in more healing and more space finding. Oh my gosh, and it's so ridiculous, like, where I ended up now. So Santa Eulalia was the next space with a girl called Leah, and she's also a somatic body worker, healer, again, I'm calling in all of these healers, which is really interesting because I'm again on this frequency journey, and I'm learning how I can be of service and how I can stand into facilitation. So okay, yeah, so where was I? So I call in that, and Leah agrees that I can move in within the week, which gives like this landlord a bit more time, and I'm willing obviously to pay that amount of money. And then this is also where like it was a very hard decision because I really enjoyed where I lived and there was a lot of abundance opportunity, but I just didn't feel right. And this is where the universe really kind of said was the right choice, because the landlord basically went crazy and he kicked us all out because he felt that we had deceived him when there was definitely a middle ground to find common ground and to find a solution for everyone. But so the couple are now living elsewhere on the island and are super duper happy, and they've been trying to leave for a while. And I found an entirely new space. So this was a Wednesday. I was about to go out, and on that Wednesday I met my girlfriend Desiree. So Desiree is this beautiful Spanish, Afghan, Aussie, and we recognized each other's Aussie accents. And I met her at Las Dalias. So again, Las Dalias is this meeting space of soulmates. Like, I really, really, truly believe it. And this is why there's a large calling for anyone that comes to the island to explore Las Dalias as a space. It's very, very special. It's very potent. And yeah, I can't recommend that enough. And she had a chihuahua, his name's Jag, and Jag had just come onto the island with his grandma, aka her mum, and we connected. She was like, is that an Aussie accent? I was like, it is. Is that an Aussie accent on you? She's like, it is. So we fully powed and connected on that front. And she was like, well, my mum leaves in 3 weeks. She's like, why don't you come and live with me? And I was like, yes, absolutely. And it just felt so right. And I'm here right now. This is our backyard here, this beautiful walk, and our little cala, which is Spanish for little beach, I believe. The Spanish is not going too well. I need to really anchor down into the Spanish because I promised that I would, and I haven't so much, so it's on the list. Do not worry. Yes, so I spoke to Leah, the girl that I was living with in Santa Eulalia, and she said that was fine because I am quite a big energy to have around. She thought, 1 month would be a good amount of time for us to be together, and we learnt so much, through being with each other and learning and just living together in general. Brought a lot of love and light and healing. And having bounced around, like a few different places now, like I really do want to speak to that everyone is on this frequency journey as souls, having a human experience, walking, talking, living, breathing, having our emotions, doing our thing, working out what our soul path is, and really going for it. And it's really powerful and really special, but it can also be really overwhelming. And everyone is going through very similar things in terms of emotions, and this is where when we meet each other, it's this in Lakesh, I am the other you, as consciousness experiencing itself and life getting hard and difficult sometimes, like being able to hold space and to see each other's struggles and meet that with space holding, meet that with healing, because we are the medicine. It's also something that I really wanted to speak to on this Lionsgate portal.